Finance Committee member Senator Marsha Blackburn disagrees. Senator, the great senator from Tennessee, Marsha, good to see you. What do you think of this? Are taxpayers on the hook and going to bail out this bank? What say you?
Well, we know that taxpayers are going to be on the hook for this. Here are some things we have to keep in mind. First of all, we have to ask about the supervisory role of not only the California regulators, but also of the San Francisco Fed, and figure out who was asleep at the wheel. Secondly, the U.S. government should never be in the first position on making people whole. This should be the last position. What we also know is that you have to look at the deposit, the mix, the customers that were there of SVB. What you know is that this was a lot of people in tech, a lot of people in green energy. This is another of Biden's blue state bailouts, and he knows it. You know it, I know it, the American people know it.
Senator, do you know anything, were you briefed at all about the possible sale of Silicon Valley Bank? Again, this auction somehow failed on Sunday, but there was apparently a buyer that stepped up, another institution, but it was declined by the FDIC, and now there's another auction planned. What is afoot with the lefties within the FDIC? And I'll call them out by name: Rohit Chopra and Martin Grunberg, to name two.
Marty.
Marty.
Yeah. Well, what we know was that there was a prospective buyer, and then the buyer declined. So then they're having to go back to the table again. But bear in mind, this is more of that incestuous relationship from a lot of people that are there on the left. You look at the mix of those depositors, you look at the push from the FDIC to say we're going to make these depositors whole, and who is going to pay for that? My small banks, community banks in Tennessee, those in Wisconsin, where you're from, Sean. Those are the banks that are going to end up toting the note on this thing, because it has been declared that this bank, SVB, is a significant bank, and therefore we cannot let this one fail. And it's because of who they are. But I'll tell you one thing we're looking at is we don't want any companies that are tied to the Chinese Communist Party getting one thin dime of U.S. taxpayer money.
Well, Senator, to put a little salt in that wound, you're talking about taxpayers and Chinese investments. Let's go to this story, because the U.S. taxpayer may have been billed double, tens of millions of dollars for projects in Wuhan, China, which means that not only did you get COVID, you paid for it twice. There was potential theft of government funds for medical supplies, equipment, travel, and salaries. What's your take on this story, Senator?
My take on this is we're beginning to peel back the layers and find out exactly how much money was going to that lab, how much was going through NIAID, Dr. Fauci's agency, how much was going through EcoHealth Alliance, and how much we had into that, and how much visibility did Anthony Fauci have into what that money was being used for. You have to look at the NIH, Dr. Collins. How much did he know? What we do know is that they have not wanted to answer questions that have come from Congress since day one. And we also know that the Chinese Communist Party locked down Wuhan, locked down that lab in Wuhan. They wouldn't let anybody in it. We know the lab had had problems for years because our diplomatic scientists were telling us there were problems with this lab. And then we find out that the Chinese Communist Party colluded with the World Health Organization on writing the report language on the COVID pandemic. I mean, they don't want want to be held responsible for this, but Joe Biden could do something about this. He is choosing not to confront Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party.
Senator, here's something that is filthy and stinks to high heaven. Biden's agenda on washing machines. Manufacturers warn the administration's new energy regulations will make wash cycles longer, detergent more costly, and clothes less clean. Sean is so upset about this.
Oh, Rachel's upset too, Senator. I mean, can you believe this? And you know, you're a mother and a grandmother. It's not going to wash our clothes, and we're going to pay more for it. What can we do to push back on these crazy green policies that are destroying our homes?
Oh, my goodness. You know, it's not enough to control you from daylight to dark. Now they want to control your oven. I'm not giving up my gas stove.
Me either.
You know, I've got that number dialed in. I'm keeping that one. And to take your washing machine and try to make it to the point that it is going to be less efficient. We have focused on appliance efficiency because why? It uses less electricity. It is a better product, utilization of technology to make these appliances more efficient. So here comes something that you've got to have a different detergent, less effective. You've to your clothes not once, but probably 2 or 3 times to get them clean. So or electricity, you will get a worse outcome from the product. I cannot imagine this. Before long, they're going to have us carrying our clothes back out back and doing an old wringer washing machine.
The washboard again, Marsha. They ruined our toilets. They've ruined our dishwashers. Listen, nothing works in the home. Enough of these liberals. Get them out of here.
Light bulbs.
It's the light bulbs. It's the washing machines. It is, you know, it's everything. You name it.
Showers.
Showers too.
Toilets.
Yes.
They're ruining America, Senator. Push back on them. Fight back for the American kitchen and
for the American mom that wants efficiency at an affordable price.
And the dad that gets stuck doing it too, Marsha. The dad that gets stuck doing it too. Senator Marsha Blackburn, always great to have you. Thanks for joining us on the Bottom Line.
Good to be with you. Thank you.